Alright, welcome back to part 2 of the of the Blue Collar Kitchen Soup Spectacular.
Soup Spectacular!
Alright, we already did the seafood bisque with the shrimps and scallops, and it was delicious.
Seafood bisque, shrimp and scallops.
And now we're going to go a little bit more traditional. We're going to do a, was it New England? Yeah, a New England clam chowder. Alright, not as hard as it sounds. Alright, so you take another medium saucepan, still 2 quarts, just a different one. Alright, you're going to take 2 strips of bacon. Got 2 strips of bacon cut into about 1/2 inch pieces. You're going to take that, just dump it right in. On medium-high heat. Hear that sizzle? Alright, pretty much we're going to cook this down until it gets kind of crispy. You know, render some of that fat out there, get some grease in it. Set the onions too. Alright, now to that, we're going to add, I'd say it's about 2 tablespoons. It's 2 decent sized green onions that I cut real fine. You can toss that in there. Going to make it pretty aromatic. You're going to release some of the oils in there, get good smelling stuff going down. Actually, it smells good already. Seriously, nothing in this whole wide world is better than bacon. I am fully convinced that at one point, God looked down upon the earth, saw that life kind of sucked, so said, you know what, here's bacon.
Eat a pig.
Eat a pig. They ain't unclean no more, have at.
New Testament and all.
Yeah, totally. Alright, now that's actually cooking up at a pretty decent rate and it smells freaking good. Alright. Down here are other ingredients. Go ahead and get that out of the way. We got 2 standard size cans of minced clams. Once again, the brand isn't famous, so they're clams.
How many ounce cans, James?
What are they, 6.5 each? So 13 ounces total. We drained it and reserved the liquid back here. We're going to put that back in.
By the way, if it doesn't make a cup, add water until it does.
Yeah, totally. We've also got another 2 cups of milk. Recipe called for skim. We're using 2% because, well...
Not much difference in that anyway.
Exactly. I didn't get this thing drinking skim. And we've got what would be 2 medium-sized potatoes diced into about 1/2 inch. It's actually a medium and too small. The producer's hollering, so you'll lose my cameraman for a second.
Just show it off the camera.
Pretty much we're not going to be doing anything until this bacon gets crunchy, which is probably going to take a few minutes. Just keep a stir in it so that you don't burn the green onions. I mean, not that they're particularly delicate or anything, they're probably not going to stick to the pot. A, non-stick. And B, getting cooked in bacon grease. Bacon grease is pretty much as good as any oil you could possibly want. In fact, Marty actually keeps a little thing of bacon grease just laying around that he uses in regular recipes for other stuff. You can use bacon grease instead of butter in a lot of things. I made macaroni and cheese with it once. I'm pretty sure it was good for 5 pounds and about 3 years off of my life due to hardened arteries. But it was delicious. I don't keep bacon grease lying around in my house. Very important, I know that this is rudimentary stuff, but if you're using non-stick, for the love of heaven, use plastic or wooden utensils. Don't use metal on non-stick. You will ruin it. No sense in even buying non-stick if you're just going to scratch it up with, a fork. Alright, now that our bacon's gotten kind of crunchy, and the onions are totally cooked, we're just going to go ahead and pretty much add everything else. Yeah, recipe says pretty much add everything else. So we're going to take our clam juice here, Ours actually worked out to pretty much exactly a cup, so we didn't add any water. It's just straight clam juice. If you really wanted to, instead of adding water, you can buy clam juice in bottles. I never have. But and then you're going to add your milk. Once again, pint glass, 2 cups.
Try not to make a mess.
Yeah, try not to make a mess, but hey, it's his kitchen, so. Alright, get that worked in there. Toss in Los Papas, the potatoes. Try to put those in kind of delicately so you don't splash that hot stuff back up on your hand.
How are those chopped again?
Those are diced at about a half an inch.
Half inch.
Half an inch. It's effectively
An inch to a half inch.
yeah, an inch to a half inch. Some of them are probably 3/4. Yeah, that would be 2 medium potatoes. For us, it was a medium and 2 smalls because that's just kind of how the potato bag works. Then you're going to add your cans of clams. Did you see that? Label action. That's right. Unidentified clam company. Throw us an endorsement and we'll tell them who we are. Yeah, that's going to happen someday.
No.
Alright, give that a stir. Just kind of mix everything in. Then we're going to take the heat all the way back up to high. All the way to high. As screaming hot as you can get it. You're going to want to take this all the way to a boil. Put a couple of shakes of black pepper on it. Pretty much that's the taste. If you like black pepper, get another one, whatever. It looks good and rustic already, man. By the way, this is actually going to make kind of a
Thin.
thin clam chowder. That's what the recipe is supposed to do. We actually kind of picked it because of that. But if you want to make more of the thicker kind of clam chowder, you know, like you'll get from Campbell's or whatever, either substitute the milk for heavy cream, or substitute half of the milk for heavy cream, or you could make it just like this. You could, you know, toss what for this amount, a half a teaspoon of cornstarch, a quarter teaspoon of cornstarch.
I'd say more like a teaspoon of cornstarch.
A teaspoon, a full teaspoon. Wow. Okay, a whole teaspoon. You know, slurry that into, you know, a quarter cup of water or something.
Look at it basically pretty much as a half a teaspoon for every cup of fluid that's in there. So I'd actually say
3 cups. So a teaspoon and a half?
yeah, a teaspoon and a half.
Teaspoon and a half, he says. I'll trust his judgment on that one. He's better with gravy and sauce than I am. Alright, if I don't stop stirring that, it ain't never going to boil. So just sit there, let it come to a boil. Probably going to take a couple of minutes. It was already pretty hot to begin with, so it really shouldn't take that long. I can already see the fluid start to move. And that's always a good thing when you can see the fluid kind of start moving around by itself. It's already bubbling, man. I mean, it's not to a boil yet, but it's about to be. It's close. Any words of wisdom for chowder, Mark?
No.
No?
Never made it before, actually.
Oh, groovy. Me neither. So first time for everybody. The cool thing about soup, since I got a minute, the cool thing about soup, particularly the ones that we made today with the possible exception of the bisque, you can add anything too. I mean, well, let's say you wanted to have carrots and celery in your chowder, you wouldn't even have to change the recipe. Just throw it in. I mean, if you added a whole lot, I'd say throw in another half a cup of milk just for the sauce, you know, just so it could still cover everything. But I mean, soup's the most versatile food on the face of the earth. Marty, you
It's
agree?
the best stuff I've ever had.
Totally.
It's actually my favorite.
So soup's good food, man. And like I said, you can do anything with it. I mean, we've got green onions in here. If you don't like green onions, don't put them in it. If you don't like clams, make something else. It's clam chowder, folks. But, you know, I mean, I've heard people put tomatoes in their clam chowder. I believe that that's a Manhattan clam chowder.